All right, chapter 12 was amazing, huh? The first thing I'd like to share a couple thoughts about things that have happened to me this week, but it's probably more important that we stick with the Bible. Um, but I just wanted to share something. I've been having trouble with my feet lately. I'm on my feet usually for about 4 hours at a time, and then I get off my feet for about 15 minutes, and then it's another 4 hours, and then I'm like exhausted when I get home, you know. So I must not have very good shoes. But anyway, praise God, I still had my old shoes. I put those on yesterday, and I felt pretty good. And I just put on, I had my old running shoes, and it's almost like my feet have grown a half size. I don't know. It's weird. Weird, man! But anyway, back to chapter 12. I just think that is so amazing in verse 10 of chapter 12 in Job, in whose hand is the soul of every living thing and the breath of all mankind. I mean, the book of Job is one of the oldest books they've ever found. And I guess if you take like composition courses and English courses, you'll probably have some jerk teacher that's going to expose you to the book of Job. So when an atheist reads the book of Job and they read these sections like this, chapter 12, Job is saying, everybody knows this, you know? He's saying it like it's fact. It's like common sense. But when you go to college, their goal is to eliminate any hint of that thought. So they've probably removed anybody that promotes the book of Job, they've probably thrown out the window, or they've told them don't teach Job because of chapter 12. I mean, it's right in your face here, you know? 7 is another good example. I have a lot of animals, or I've had a lot of animals. We've lost, most recently, we've lost Lou and we've lost Tiny. Still have a couple dogs. You know, they get very agitated with the thunder and lightning. I know the atheist will immediately say, it's because of their senses, you idiot. You don't have the sense to hear that thunder blast. But the dog has senses where he can sense for 10,000 miles. So here he hears that thunder blast like it's right next to him. So obviously the dog is going to take that seriously. But I think it's more than that. Very intelligent dogs that I own, Maltese. They're very funny, smart dogs. But I think they know. I actually have a feeling that every single animal that I encounter, I just have this feeling that they know God. Like they know it, you know? I know to the atheist, intellectual, professional person, they won't care about what I'm saying. Just respond, well, you're stupid. Because God clearly doesn't exist. Clearly on page 472 of the Dragon Manual. It's a verse in Romans talking about thou art without excuse, you know? Like people, they're without excuse. God, especially in this chapter 12 here in Job, God is revealing himself through all these things. And if you ignore it, clearly you're just, I don't want to say you're stupid, but you're you've been blinded. My coworker was complaining about my other coworker on truck day, saying to me, "How do you tolerate that guy?" And I said to him, "Well, at least he talks to us, you know. He's an atheist. And praise God, this week I found out why he doesn't believe in God. It's foundationally in the church. The church failed the poor guy and his whole family. And but now he's built his life on a different perspective, and he doesn't like God. But for some reason, the guy likes talking to me. I even wear these ridiculous pieces of clothing with all these crosses. I mean, you can kind of see through right there. You can see a cross right there. There's crosses all over me. And he enjoys talking to me a lot. I mean, I don't push him, but if we're at the end of time, I'd really like him to come to Christ. He says I don't think they're believers, but anyway, what I was getting at was there may be an opportunity that God is growing into, an opportunity that I'll be able to talk to this person, and somehow God can get through to this person. But my coworker was saying to me, he'd hate you if you just confronted him right now. And I was saying to my boss then about the issue, I said, if I were to confront him and to accuse him right now of being an atheist, denying God, j'accuse. If I were to do that, wouldn't I be part of the prosecution in a courtroom setting like Job? That's what Job is. It's a courtroom. This is these are calling witnesses. This is testimony. This is evidence. If I were to start accusing him, wouldn't I be part of the Satan team versus the defense that, grace and mercy and truth? It's plain out there. It's the simple truth, fact, that God is present in all of this. And you denying it is just because Satan has obfuscated the truth and made it seem like this complex system was developed by aliens or something, Clearly, when I think it's so much more, in whose hand is the soul of every living thing and the breath of all mankind. Isn't that a statement that's just beyond what some puny human can even conceptualize, Are you arrogant enough to think that you can decipher what God intends? Every variable, My coworker made another statement yesterday as I was leaving. He was saying, that he was right about every person we've worked with. We've worked together for 6 years. I'm amazed. It feels like we've been together for 20 years. Man, what a long time. Anyway, he says, I was right about every person we've dealt with. And I said to him, I really liked Shelley. I think you were kind of... And he was like, no, I was talking about her work ethic, not her humanity or anything. And I said to him, and he just had a statement, like, I knew everything. Eh. And I said, yes, you knew every factor, every variable, every checkmate instance, every insignificant little detail. You knew it about that person. What about the small things, the people that claim they know everything? What about the small things? They don't want to admit those small things, like those animals in verse 7. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee. Have you looked into the eyes of an animal and seen God? That little spark right in the eye, the reflection of the light, and that hint of spirit. You can't even describe it. You can't even see it. But it's there. Can you think about small things like that? Small little human details, Do you account for those things? I don't think the person that... not that he's not being well, he is being a little arrogant, but, I'm sure he means well, but he doesn't realize what he's saying. Anyway, we'll continue in a minute.